Hi, it's Dave from Cleaning Dr. Sutton Coldfield and Tamworth again. Today is the third episode of my advice videos, and today what we're going to be looking at is freshly made tea. Freshly made tea with 1 sugar and a dash of milk, builder's tea, because I like my tea nice and strong, spilt onto a wool mix carpet. So let's just make the tea. Just see, it's a nice strong cup. Steam coming off it. And what we're going to do is I'm going to apply 4 tea spills on here today. Let's just 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we go, 4 tea stains. Now, for the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to change it slightly from the coffee stain, which was fresh, and we're going to let it dry. Let's assume Granny came round and knocked over her tea and didn't tell you about it, and you didn't discover it till the next morning. So we'll come back when it's dry, and we're going to try 4 different methods to clean out this tea stain. Hi, it's Dave from Cleaning Doctor here. Just returning to have a look at these accidental tea spillages that we made yesterday. And as you can see, they're all quite nicely set in the woolen carpet. So what we're going to do is we are going to try my method against 3 of the more popular items that a lot of people would purchase from a supermarket, and see how we get on. So my method is very simple. I'm just going to turn my hot water tap on. I'm going to make up a mix of, if I can open the bottle, white vinegar, and we're going to try and be as accurate as we can. 2 fluid ounces of white vinegar, and we're going to mix that with 6 parts of warm water. So it's a 1 part white vinegar, 3 parts warm water mix. Okay, remember that, 3 to 1. Okay, I have genuinely never used any of these products that I'm about to try, but the first thing I'm going to do is to take my warm water and white vinegar mix and take a sponge, and I am going to blot this stain in this corner. I'm not going to soak the carpet, and I'm not going to agitate because it's wool, so I'm just going to use the acidity of the white vinegar and warm water mix, hopefully to break down that stain in that corner. So I'm going to put, there's about 16 layers of kitchen roll there, and I'm going to return to my couple of books, and I'm just going to leave that, and we're going to see what happens. So let's try this fella on this one and see what happens. I'm just going to spray this in. Incidentally, I'm doing what most people, or a lot of people probably do, and I haven't read the instructions. So I'm just going to blot that in. Doesn't look like it's done anything. Let's put a bit more in. I have learnt from the very first video, and I'm blotting, not rubbing. Okay, one last go, because maybe I should leave it for a few minutes. Okay, while that's soaking, let's try this one on this stain. Whoa, very foamy. Okay. Whoa. Okay, we're going to give that a few minutes. Seems to be maybe what's needed. I honestly have no idea how you use this stuff, so I'm just going to squeeze and hope some comes out. Whoa, looks like it's coming out. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do. Maybe just give it a good old rub. Okay, we'll see what happens with that. Okay, I'm going to give those all 5 minutes, and then I'm going to try and blot up the remnants. Okay, let's just blot these up a little bit. They certainly look better, but don't appear to have completely disappeared there. No, that one doesn't seem to have gone either. And this one, this brush has actually damaged the carpet, which is not good. You can see where it's bits of carpet have been damaged and fuzzed. Okay, what we're going to do is leave these 4 different solutions to dry thoroughly and see if they continue to fade. See what happens with these 4 stains, and we'll come back and investigate later. Okay, let's take a quick look at these coffee stains that we rinsed through yesterday. This side is the side that we cleaned with washing up liquid and then rinsed through. We didn't put anything on top as it was drying after we rinsed it, and as you can see, there is still some residue of the coffee which is lifted as the moisture has evaporated, and we still have a bit of a stain there, unfortunately. Let's just take a look under this, which was, we applied about a dozen layers of kitchen towel again, a couple of old books, and there you go. As you can see, that stain has gone. I don't know if you can see in the towel, the slight amount of residual coffee that was left has now been absorbed into the towel, is no longer in the carpet. So this side, following the white vinegar warm water mix method to break down the tannins and to draw out the moisture, rinse it through and allow it to dry to just draw out the remaining tannins, has been, I'd say, almost 100% effective. This side with the washing up liquid, not so. This is now going to need further attention from a specialist, probably, to try and remove the residual amount of that tannin from the coffee. So I hope you've learned something from this little video, and you can see the difference in approaching things maybe slightly differently to what you may have done in the past. And I hope you watch the rest of the videos in the series. Thank you. Hi, it's Dave from Cleaning Dr. Sutton Coldfield again, and we're just coming back to have a look at these tea stains that we had to go at yesterday. So first of all, we're going to have a look at this one, which was my prepared solution of 1 part white vinegar and 3 parts warm water, which we blotted onto the stain and then left to soak up, and we'll see if that's had any kind of result. Well, you can see there's a small amount of tea, but the stain is still quite prominent, unfortunately. So if we look at this one here, this does appear to have faded a little bit. So maybe if I was the customer with this particular solution, I might just give it another go, just to see if we can make it look any better. So I'm going to spray it with the solution, and I'm going to blot that rub. Okay, right, we're going to leave that again and we'll come back to it. So we can get more out. Okay, same with this stain remover, the stain does appear to have reduced slightly. So let's foam her up again. And let's blot that in. A bit of rare stuff, it's like shaving foam. Okay. So this customer also, sorry, is my head getting in the way of the video. This customer also is gonna see if we can get any further reduction. And also, this fella looks like it's reduced a little bit. So we'll put a bit more of the stuff on. See if we can't get ourselves a slightly better result. Just have to take that in with the brush that's supplied, and give it another blot. Okay. Ooh, it's going everywhere. Right, okay, so these three people have reapplied their respective solutions, so we will revisit those tomorrow and see what's happened. This person has decided that the best course of action is probably to contact a professional cleaner, so they've contacted me, and unfortunately, because it's Sunday, I don't work, so I have arranged an appointment to pop out and see what I can do tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll have a look at these three stains, see if there's been any further improvement or any other reactions, and also we'll see what we can do with my professional equipment on this stain tomorrow. Okay. Hi, it's Dave from Cleaning Doctor here again. Just going to have a look at these tea stains now they've all had a chance to dry, where we've applied the solutions we bought from the supermarket. As you can see in the top left hand corner, the solution with the brush seems to have damaged the carpet. There's bits of fluff and it seems to have fuzzed slightly. And in all three of those cases there is still remnants of the tea stain. In the top right hand corner, where I attempted to clean it with white vinegar and warm water solution, it's still very obvious. So working on the basis that you've just booked a professional carpet and upholstery cleaner to come and have a look at the four stains, I'm going to start with the top right hand corner, which has only been touched with white vinegar and warm water solution. So we know that one is safe to work on. The other three, I will need to flush out the residue of the solution that's been used, as we don't know what effect that may or may not have had on the carpet and the stain itself. So we need to see the wood for the trees. So we'll start on the top right hand corner first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm applying here a specialist solution which is designed for tea and coffee stains, and I'm going to give that a few minutes to work. Now whilst that's doing its job, I'm going to flush out these other stains so we can see what we're dealing with. this stain here does appear to have lightened slightly. So what I'm going to do is just take my towel to absorb up the excess solution that I've just used. As you can see, by hitting it with a tamping brush using a towel doesn't do any damage to the carpet. Now I'm going to flush this through and then I'm going to reapply the solution again. Let's apply another application of our specialist solution, and we'll give that a few more minutes and come back in again. In the meantime, just in case it wasn't very apparent, I can see, and I'm sure you can, that in the top left hand corner the solution from the supermarket with the brush has apparently changed the colour of the carpet. It appears to have bleached it slightly, so it's not only damaged it using the brush, it's also bleached the carpet slightly. I think the other two stains, the bottom left and the bottom right, have also bleached the carpet slightly. It's not very clear from this angle, but I will show you in a short while when I move the camera to a different angle so you can see. Anyway, we'll see what this specialist solution does on the stain that hadn't been messed with. Okay, this stain looks like it's still continuing to fade, so let's just blot up the solution and we'll rinse it through again. We'll just keep going until we're not getting any more reduction before we turn to any other solutions. I'm just going to agitate this ever so slightly with my finger, just so that we're getting into all of the fibres very gently. Okay. Now I'm going to wash my finger. Okay, not sure that's fading anymore. Let's just no, that doesn't appear to have changed any now, so I'm going to flush this through again. Then I've got one more solution designed for tea and coffee related stains that I'm going to try, and then failing that I'm going to turn to specialist spot and stain removal solutions. So let's flush this through. Okay, so put a bit of this on. You'll notice I've done the right thing now and put a glove on, which is what I should have done in the first place. Okay, this is my second solution designed for tea and coffee stain removal. So I'm just tapping that in with my gloved finger, and we'll give that a few minutes. Come back and see how we're getting on. While that solution is working, I'm going to try some of my original tea and coffee stain remover on the other 3 stains. Now that we've flushed it through and it's had a couple of minutes to dry out a little bit, we'll see what effect that has. I'm going to leave that for a few minutes to soak into those 3 stains. Okay, it's been a couple of minutes on the first stain, so let's flush that through and see what happens. Okay, we still have a bit of a stain, so I'm going to give it one last go with the second solution. Okay, let's just tap that in with my finger again. And we're going to give that another few minutes. Now, while that's working, let's see if there's anything coming out of these other 3 stains. That doesn't appear to have changed. Have to say that it doesn't look like any of those have changed. Let's just what we're going to do is move on to a specialist solution on those 3 stains, which is designed to turn stains that don't come out using specialist products invisible. There's no point in using a second solution on these 3 stains because the first solution hasn't lightened them at all, so the second solution is not going to improve them, whereas with this one the first solution did lighten it and the second solution appears to have lightened it further, so that's why I've continued with this one. So we'll give this one another minute, flush it through, and if not we'll use the specialist solution for turning stains invisible on this one as well, if we can, and see what the result is. Okay, let's flush this stain through. Stain 2 does not appear to be lightening any further, so we're going to move on to my least favourite solution because I hate using it. It stinks, but it's kind of a last resort with stains like this. Maybe have an effect on this one. I'm not so sure about these three, as I have a feeling that the product that's been used on them has actually set the stain, which is meaning it's not going to change at all. But anyway, we'll see. Let me just get this solution prepared. Right, this is nasty stuff, and I don't spray it on. I use a paintbrush, and I've got my machine ready to go. And I'm just going to paint it onto the affected area. And I'm going to watch to see if it changes colour. I'm ready to flush it out at any moment because it can react. Keep going like this, so I'm going to stop the recording because I'm just going to keep reapplying and flushing, same with these three stains, and we'll come back in a minute and see how we get on. Okay, so we're finished for now. We're going to let this dry, but at the moment, this stain, which we used white vinegar and warm water solution on, which appeared to be a lot worse than the other three before we started this part, now appears to have pretty much disappeared. The other three stains, there is still noticeable staining. There's damage, certainly to the carpet in the area of one of the stain removers, and also it appears that the carpet has been bleached to some extent in areas of where the proprietary cleaning products have been used. So we're going to let this dry anyway, and then we'll come back to it later and just have a look, see how it's dried out. Hi, it's Dave from Cleaning Doctor. Again, let's just take a final look at these 4 tea stains that we attempted to clean out. This is the first one using this stuff. Now, following using this stuff and subsequently me flushing it out and treating it with professional solutions, there still is a very slight mark there. The carpet also appears to be slightly lightened there, so somewhat bleached. This mark over here, which was this solution, again, there is still a very small amount of the coffee stain, and again, it does appear to have slightly bleached the carpet. Now this stuff, which is everybody's favourite at the moment, as you can see, there is quite a large area of carpet that is not only bleached to a certain extent, the brush has also caused the carpet to be damaged, and that's something that's irreversible, and there is still a small amount of the stain that has not come out. So these 3 solutions have effectively caused the stain to partially set. If it had been left for longer, it probably would have been worse, but luckily I managed to remove most of the stain, but it hasn't stopped the permanent damage from the fuzzing and the slight bleaching of the carpet. And again, if I'd have left that for longer, I've seen cases where carpets have been quite badly bleached. If we look at the area that I cleaned myself, that looks like it's gone. There is no damage to the carpet, and that's just through using white vinegar and water and then calling out a professional to deal with it. All in all, it's not bad results on the 4, but I'd say the area that has not been touched with the proprietary cleaning product has certainly come up the best. We'll keep an eye on it for the next 24 hours while it fully dries, and if there's any reactions as a result of any of the other cleaning products, I will let you know.